What is up, people? It is me, Monster58, and welcome back to another video review. Today we are going to be taking a look at the Transformers Studio Series 86 Leader Class Dinobot Swoop as he was seen in not only the 1986 movie, but obviously the 1980s cartoon, and this is a big one. If you guys have been keeping up, we have had all four of the major Dinobots for the past while now. Everyone's been asking, where's Swoop, where's Swoop, where's Swoop, because he's the last one. And finally, Hasbro has finally given us the last Dinobot of the original G1 cast. And this is huge for me, too, because I love dinosaurs. And for those of you who know the game Fossil Fighters, I played that a lot as a kid, and I played the sequel Champions. Frontier was garbage. But regardless, I just love dinosaurs, and obviously loving giant robots as well. This ends up being like a match made in heaven for me. So the Dinobots were always something I wanted a full display of because I thought they were so cool. And finally, now with Swoop here, I finally have the ability and I finally own the full set of all the Dinobots, all scaled not only with one another, but with the rest of the G1 cast, from the Decepticons to the Autobots. It's just glorious to finally have this guy in hand. So taking a look at the box here, you can see some very nice artwork of Swoop right here, as per usual. Looks really, really good. Studio Series Dinobot Swoop, Series 86. You can see the Transformers logo here, the Generations logo as well, and the Transformers the movie logo. More logo up there at the top. Some more nice artwork here of Swoop on the side with the leader class. Then you can see some more nice artwork here of Swoop in his pterodactyl mode, and then his back, the back of the box where it shows the obligatory product shots. As you can see, transforms in 21 steps. And the background is pretty much, I believe, the same exact one that we got with Springer. And so, as per usual, Hasbro kills it with the box as well as the box art. And so, without further ado, alrighty, folks, here we have the Transformers Studio Series 86 Leader Class Dinobot Swoop in his pterodactyl mode. And I gotta say, guys, this is pretty much spot on. I mean, this is pretty much, in my opinion, if you're not as nitpicky as me, or if you're not nitpicky in general, this is pretty much a perfect figure. Like, this is bar none, probably in my opinion, next to Grimlock, this guy's probably, and I'd say Snarl as well, this is probably the best of these guys. This is the best Dinobot out of all these guys. It's absolutely fantastic. It's so cool to finally have this guy in the collection. So taking a look at the details here, you can see that head sculpt is glorious. It looks really good. The gold paint, all the sculpted, molded in details, really nice. You can see the Autobot logo there on the top of the beak, the nice blue for the eyes, and then if you open the mouth here, he opens about that much. You can see that there is a little peg in there, so if you do have blast effects, you can absolutely put blast effects in this guy's mouth to make it look like he's breathing fire. So really cool. Looking at the other details, very nice details here with the blue. You can see all that molded in detail. The reds here is very nice and accurate as well. Coming down here, even the feet are painted. You have the nice gold here for the what will become his actual robot legs, but for the little pterodactyl legs, you can see the nice gold paint there, the gold for the feet as well. Just really awesome all around. I mean, you can see that is very well done. The wings are also great. They feel thick, they feel heavy, they don't feel flimsy at all. When you move them, the joints are very tight. You can see they're just on these hinges, so they can flap out like so. You can see the nice Autobot logos. They're very painted. They're painted very nicely in the silver. And looking at the back here again, just some crazy awesome molded in detail. And I'm a real big fan of this. I mean, overall, I mean, this guy is amazing. And to get him out of his like little stand mode, all you gotta do is do this, and then his head can articulate all the way up like this. So if you want to get him in his pterodactyl mode, you can very obviously do that, and it looks fantastic. I mean, this couldn't get more accurate if it tried, really. And when it comes to Swoop here, I do not have a flight stand, unfortunately, so I will not be able to do any cool shots like this in the photo section at the end of the review. But overall, I'm just happy that I can, just set this guy down. I mean, you can set him down like this. I mean, you could absolutely set him down like this. But a lot of people don't want the paint rubbing up against whatever and then, scratching off over time. But yeah, really, really awesome. And I'm just so happy that we have Swoop, because this guy, like I told you, is nearly a perfect figure. There's only a couple small little nitpicky things that I have wrong with this guy, but pretty much this guy is almost perfect. So, and do our comparisons, setting this guy off to the side here. Here we have him with the Deluxe Class Magnus, as per usual. Can't really complain about that. Obviously, we have a Leader, we have a Deluxe here, so there's a massive size difference, especially when you spread this guy out like this, right? There's a huge size difference, right? Like, Yeah, this guy can, like, Magnius can sit on Swoop's back, so you can see that there is a large size difference, and that's one issue I have, is that these wing bits like to come off a fair bit when you're moving them around. I'm not even pushing against them hard. The other thing I did forget to show, they also articulate like so. They do articulate all the way out like this, so you can get this. You can even get an even wider like wingspan. I didn't show that off, so that's my fault there. But yeah, you can absolutely do that. But yeah, when it comes to size, Swoop is absolutely a perfectly fine size for a leader. The thing I also appreciate about these Dinobots is that they really do feel like the leaders of old. They're big, they're chunky, they're very heavy, right? These are really, really good leaders, and Swoop here is no exception. Alrighty, folks, and we'll sort of rapid fire. Here he is with Sludge, Slug, Snarl, and the leader Grimlock. And folks, I want to apologize for my limited room, but here is the best sort of shot I could get of all 5 of the Dinobots all together as a team in their dinosaur modes, and they just, man, this is awesome, man. It's so sick. It's genuinely like a childhood dream of mine come true, and I couldn't be any more happy with these. I mean, yeah, they're the individual Dinobots. None of these guys, besides really Swoop, are, I would say, perfect at all, but they're extremely good figures. Easily, all these figures, in my opinion, are at least an 8 out of 10. Like, they really are, and it's just really cool to finally have all 5 of these absolute behemoths of Transformers, of Autobots, all in one and all together. This is just awesome, guys. Alrighty, folks, without further ado, it's time to get into the transformation, into robot mode. And I gotta say, despite the simplicity of this guy's transformation, it's very enjoyable, and it doesn't really exude that frustration at all. And I know that maybe people would complain about the simplicity of it, but it results in the most accurate pterodactyl mode. It results in pretty much the most accurate robot mode that you'll ever see for Swoop from the 86 cartoon, and the 80s cartoon and the 86 movie. And in addition to that, like, it just feels good to transform this guy. Like, this guy's been sitting on my desk for the past week, and I transformed him and untransformed him over and over and over again. Like, transformed him to... Sorry, not untransformed. Transformed him to Dino mode, transformed him to robot mode over and over again, because it's just fun, man. So, getting into the transformation, first thing I like to do, flare the wings out, and what you can do is you can remove the guns, and we'll take a quick look at these blasters. They look really nice, since we're already here. You can see the very nice molded detail, the gray plastic, the black, and the gold look all good, and the molded in detail is just really good. You just have that peg here, and then you have the 5mm on either side. You can just plug those in. So, we're going to just set these off to the side for now. So, first thing I like to do, take the legs, and then you can just accordion them down like so and untab them. They're just tabbed into these bits right here. And then what you can do, you can fold out the feet like so, and then you'll see that there are heels in blue, so you just fold those out real quick, and there's your legs. Like that, those are your legs already. So what we'll do is we'll move the camera up to the top here. Very simple. You see that there is a peg hole there, and that there's a peg right there. You just gotta accordion these around, tab that into place like so. And then what I like to do is I like to take these, and then you have 5mm right here as well. So I like to just plug these in like so. You take these and do that, just like that. And then what I like to do is you can now start to split this and make sure it's sort of, when you split it, make sure it's diagonal, and you'll see those 2 little circle rivets there, and those are essentially meant to put the dino pterodactyl head in. So flip this panel up, and what you're going to want to do is take this little bit here, fold that up, flip that panel up, rotate it down, and then what you'll notice is that on the side, you can see those 2 little circles will just fit right into the circles there on the sides of the inner parts of the chest. Fold the head out, fold this up, then take the hands, and then this is a bit tough. You got to push down on this part here to get these hands to rotate out, or get like a tool or something. Yeah, this is tough. This is the only actual tough part about the transformation, in my opinion. There, you push down, rotate out. Very simple there. Same thing here. It's easier on this side for my copy. And then you can just rotate that out. Just rotate that around, like so. And ladies and gentlemen, here we have the Transformers Studio Series 86 Leader Class Swoop in his extremely good-looking and very, very accurate robot mode. And so, guys, when it comes to Swoop in his robot mode, it's, like, spot on, man. Like, this is perfect, basically. Taking a look at that head sculpt. Look at that head sculpt. I mean, that is gorgeous. The silver paint, the sculpting, the facial expressions are the same. The eyes are amazing. I mean, just look at that. That is as cartoon accurate as possible as you can get. So you have the nice Autobot logo there, really translates well. Again, the blue comes out. Everything just looks good. The legs look really nice. The feet look really good. And then, of course, he's got a backpack, but it really isn't that bad at all. He's just wide, right? He's just a wide backpack. But that's how Swoop was. That's how he was in the show. And so I can't really complain about that because that's just very accurate to how he was. So some really, really amazing stuff there. Now, I will show this off now because we already showed off the blasters, so I feel like it's appropriate to show... Whoops, and I knocked the camera loose for a second. Show that off now. He comes with Grimlock's sword. As here's Grimlock's sword. It's bigger than his. You can see very nice red plastic. Nice molded in detail. You do have the peg here, and then you do have just the hilt there. So what I like to do for Grimlock, I just peg it on there. If you do want to, you can just peg it on here to the side. That's how I had it for the past few days while I was messing around. But yeah, you can see the peg's on very nicely, but looks really, really good. Obviously, Swoop can also hold it if he really wants to, but it doesn't look as good with him, you know, as it does with Grimlock. But Swoop does come with his own sword, and that's really, really nice. So you can see his sword is like this. It's smaller, but you do have like this little hilt part. Well, not hilt. You have like an extra handle bit right there. Let me move this guy back a bit. Raise the camera up. But yeah, you can see this looks very nice. Again, same red plastic, same nice detail. Overall, really, really good. And then you can just peg this into his hand. And that's really about it when it comes to that. So really, really nice. And the sword, again, looks fantastic. I just wish all of the Dinobots came with swords. You know, I wish that specifically Slug or Slag, excuse my language for my UK viewers, if there are any of you in the UK and other European countries. I apologize for that. But that was his name. That was his name. I'm not saying it in the, you know, the derogatory way. That's just his name. In the original show. But specifically Slug, I'll just say right now, and Sludge just came with guns. I just wish they came with swords. But really, really nice that we actually have Swoop here with his sword. So very, very cool stuff. So as per usual, we are going to be doing our comparison. So we're going to set Swoop off to the side here. Alrighty, folks. Sorry if things kind of got moved around a little bit. Just ended up, you know, transforming the other Dinobots and they got a little hairy. But here he is with Magnius from Legacy United Deluxe, obviously. You can see massive size difference. Magnius is half the size of this guy. So average Deluxe size versus a much bigger leader. And this is really, really cool to see. You can see here again, it's just literally, he's literally half the size. It's absolutely crazy how big Swoop is. But he scales well with the other Dinobots. Speaking of which, here he is with SS-86 Sludge, SS-86 Slug, SS-86 Snarl, and the king himself, SS-86 Grimlock. And folks, I am once again sorry for my lack of space, but here we have the full Dinobot cast from the original G1 cartoon, and man, I'm sitting here looking at this, I'm just draining it in, man. It is amazing that we finally have all 5 of these absolute behemoths together and scaled with one another, and also scaled with all of the other characters. It's just amazing, guys. Like, I really hope that you guys have been buying these as they've been releasing. I know that not everyone can necessarily afford that, but I really do hope you are. And if you haven't, I really do hope you're able to get these guys for secondhand on the secondhand market for a good price. But man, it just feels really good to have all 5 of them together. And as you can see, as a whole squad, this is the dream, man. This is it, and we finally have it. Kudos to Hasbro for doing this. Please make the Age of Extinction ones next. We already have Grimlock, just need the other ones. But yeah, really, really awesome. They look fantastic together. Alrighty, folks, with that all out of the way, there's one thing I did not show, but you can actually peg these into the hand. So there's the blaster peg, then you can just peg it into the hand, please. Like that. And they are nicely molded so that you can see that they just lie flat like that. So that's really, really nice. But you can do that. Not personally going to. And the last thing I'll end up pointing out is the only issue I have with this, at least right now in the robot mode, is this section right here. There's no gap filler. you know, it looks kind of ugly. But other than that, pretty awesome. And also, I didn't even show this. I apologize for this. You can actually remove this, and then you can absolutely have like a blast effect thing. So you can do that. You can see the 5mm right there. So really just lots of playability too with this guy. And I think that that is really, really cool. So overall, when it comes to this guy, just amazing overall. Now, the only thing we're going to talk about here is when it comes to issues I have with the figure. Well, the main thing is that gap filler. The other thing is that these wing bits, like the edges, you can see where they're pegged with the mushroom pegs. These like to come off relatively often when I'm messing around with the wings. And the last thing is that you'll see when we transform this thing back into its pterodactyl mode, when you're trying to peg the chest together, as you can see if you guys were paying attention when I was going over the pterodactyl mode, for Swoop here, the chest isn't exactly for mine like to plug in very well. It's just hard to get it to plug in flush. It still plugs in fine and it tabs together fine. It just, man, when you're trying to push the two halves of the chest together, you'll notice it just, for my copy specifically, it just doesn't like to tab in the best. So other than that though, everything else is amazing. And so with that all out of the way, it's time to get into the articulation. So for the articulation, we'll just remove the sword for now. You can get a full 360 with the shoulders here. You can go out that far, you can go in. You have 90 degrees at the elbow. Then you do have wrist articulation, which is hopefully expected on the leader class figure. The wings can also go back and forth like this. So to get the full 360, you just have to move the wings like that. The head is on the ball joint, so you can get side to side. You can look down a lot, actually, like crazy far. Then you can look up a decent, well, not really up, but you can look down crazy far. You can do a full 360, which is really, really nice. You also do have full waist, but unfortunately the beak gets in the way, but you can lift it up a bit to get the full 360, so just be aware of that. And then you might just untab the chest a bit, but you can get the full 360. You just gotta untab the beak a little bit from the chest. You can go forward about that far, back about that far. With the legs, you have way more than 90. That's crazy. Some of the best leg articulation we have yet seen. You have an upper thigh swivel, and you do have crazy ankle rockers, so you absolutely can get the splits with this guy. Like this. So you can see this guy has some really, really good articulation. Overall, again, probably the best Dinobot overall, and I'm really, really happy with it. So really, really cool to see. Alright folks, it's time to get into the reverse transformation, which really isn't that hard. So first things first, get rid of the sword and get rid of the blasters. Straighten this guy all out, no matter what pose you had him in. First thing I like to do is you can take the hands and you can just fold those in very quickly. So just make sure they're rotated correctly, and then you can fold them in like so. Rotate them, fold them in like so. And actually, funnily enough, you basically leave these straight, because what you'll notice is that there are pegs there are peg holes, there's a peg there, there's a hole there, there's a peg there, and there's a hole there. You're just gonna have to line this all up, so just make sure the wings are a bit straight, and then you can just line this all up. Really isn't that bad. Same thing here, so just make sure it's all lined up like so. And then what you can do here is you can just fold the wings out like so. Fold them out like this. Now what you can do, unpeg this and sort of rotate them out. Rotate the entire head up like so. Then for the head, all you got to do is untab that, fold it into the head, and then just peg that into place like so. Fold this part of the neck down, and then tab these two halves together of the chest, so accordion them inwards, and you can tab them in. And as you can see, it's just, my copy in particular does not like pegging in necessarily the best. You can see it's not like flush like you would necessarily expect. And that's a bit annoying. But to do the feet, fold the heels in, fold the toes down. Then all you got to do, keep the waist straight, fold the head, rotate these around, and then you'll see that there's like a tab hole section there, tabs there. Just line them up like so. That. Just make sure everything is pegged together. Then just rotate that around, peg that in as well. Now all I have to do is just set this guy like this. Peg those into the ones close to the body, like this. Make sure that's all pegged in. Rotate the head down, like so. Open the mouth a little bit. Fold the wings in. For the sword, you could store it here. I mean, if you really wanted to, you do have the peg there. You can technically store it there. So if you want to do that, you absolutely have the ability to do so. But that all out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, here we have the Transformers Studio Series 86 Leader Class Swoop back in his pterodactyl mode. Alrighty folks, so for my final and concluding thoughts on the Transformers Studio Series 86 Leader Class Dinobot Swoop, this guy is an absolute home run, slam dunk, whatever you want to say. He's an amazing, fantastic figure, and a perfect representation of what we saw on screen in both the original 80s cartoon and the 86 movie. This guy is simply sensational, and I cannot be more happy to have all 5 of these Dinobots together as a full team, not only again scaled with one another, but scaled with the other Autobots in the lines, right? With, Optimus Prime, with Jazz, with Wheeljack, with Bumblebee. It's just amazing. So let's get the bad out of the way first. The chest doesn't like to peg in the best when you're trying to peg in and, merge the two halves into his dino mode. Sometimes it gets loose also in robot mode. And in addition to that, the lack of gap fillers in his on his forearms, on the inside of his forearms, really does suck. And at the same time, the wing bits, like these tips here on the wings, do not like to stay in a good chunk of the time when they're messing around with them. But other than that, good. Paint, good. Looks good. Scale, good. Articulation, amazing. When it comes to both the pterodactyl mode and obviously the robot mode, and accessories, fantastic. He comes with the 2 blasters, comes with Grimlock's sword and his own sword. It's just a slam dunk, man. It's just so good. And honestly, out of a 10, I think I'm probably going to Man, I was initially thinking 9, but overall the issues I have are kind of nitpicky. You can argue it's a 9, but for me at this point, I'm just gonna say it's a 10, man. I think it's pretty much a perfect figure. I just don't find really much wrong with it, and it's very similar to what that toy guy said. I was watching his review. I really do agree with what he said. I think they really did learn from the mistakes that they made with the other Dinobots, and they were able to sort of culminate all of those mistakes and improve upon them for Swoop here, and that just makes this guy even more amazing. Again, is he perfect? When I say 10 out of 10, is he perfect? I don't necessarily think so, but is he a slam dunk home run? I absolutely think he is. So I definitely recommend you guys go and pick this guy up. I think he's sold out on a lot of places in terms of pre-orders, but I will still leave links in the description to BigBadToyStore because that's where I picked him up at. You guys can obviously look at links maybe on Hasbro Pulse or on Amazon. TFSource may also be another place you guys can try and look for this guy. He might still be in stock there. I'll leave links to all those in the description below so you guys can hopefully pick yours up. If you don't wish to pick this guy up online, I definitely wish you the best of luck in hunting this guy IRL. I expect him to obviously hit retailers relatively soon, given me getting him, right now, and a bunch of other reviewers also getting him relatively earlier than me, actually. So really nice to see this guy. And again, I wish you the best of luck in hunting this guy IRL if you decide to go that route. But I think that's really it for the video review. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video. Please like, comment, rate, and subscribe, and share this video with your friends. Also follow me in the socials. Those will be linked in the description below. And then once again, thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video review, and I will catch you on the next one. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Peace.